What's up, honkies?
So we have been blessed at Silver Screen Con, the first two. We have, of course, Jenna, Catherine, Leah. Are we fans of those three, that trio? Without sounding like I'm ungrateful, I think the other great panels we've had, those three together were my favorite panel of Silver Screen prior to this year. So we love Terrifier. So we'll just have a little conversation up here, and then this is a packed room, so I'm going to get to the audience questions a little earlier than usual, because I know you guys have a lot of stuff you wanted to ask. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Your origin story. How, when, where, why did you first fall in love with genre films in particular? And at what point did you realize, okay, this isn't just something I love, this is something I need to participate in? And create a little part of this.
Yeah, well, it really goes back to my mother being a fan of horror movies and naming me Damien after the Antichrist. Yeah, I was kind of born into this. And she was really cool. She would let me watch pretty much any.
Your middle name's not Thornton, is it?
But I'm thinking about getting it now that I'm bald, the 666 on the back of my head. Really nice tattoo, right? So always watched horror movies, and she was really, even just rated R movies. She would let me watch like really cool action movies like Commando, Rambo, all this stuff. RoboCop. She took me to see the theaters when I was 4. Like really cool movies, and then I pretty much grew up in this mom and pop video store that was like even walking distance from my house. I would go there all the time and rent movies just based on how awesome the VHS covers were. And I discovered this VHS called Screen Grades, which is an hour-long documentary on makeup effects artist Tom Savini. And when I saw that, and I
Tom
saw
Savini fans here? You're speaking the language.
my guy is probably the most influential person in terms of me being a filmmaker. And when I saw that documentary, and I saw that somebody actually creates the monsters, that was a big light bulb moment for me. And I was still very young to really start experimenting, because I've been watching that since I'm like 7, 8 years old. But when I was 12, I actually went to Leone at a horror convention, and just so happened a vendor was selling starter makeup kits, and another vendor was selling real machetes that were dull, and they had this semicircle cut out, which is a classic Tom Savini trick. It looks like it's like buried in your neck. And my mother had taken me, and she bought me all this stuff, and I went home and I just like dove into that makeup kit, and I was putting scars on my friends and making little home movies with this machete, and that was just the beginning of like first day of the rest of my life. That's really where it started.
Yeah, what an insane full circle moment to think about you being at that convention, talking to Tom Savini,
Can I just-
and here we are.
And here we are, can I tell you, the real full circle is he's actually in Terrifier 3 now. Yes, it's really fun.
By the way, when you say Commando and Rambo, I can spend the whole day talking about either one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
So and RoboCop has this kind of crossover where it's an action film, but it has some like full-on splatter and gore.
Super, uber violent. Yeah. So I gravitated toward violence for some reason. I still do in my work. I don't know. There's something very profound, and always as a kid, I was just, even when I was obsessed with playing with G.I. Joes and stuff. So everybody had to stay out of my room. I was in my own
Did you
room.
have the USS flag? Were you that kid?
No, I didn't.
Everybody always knew the kid, no one ever was the kid.
Yeah, but all of my G.I. Joes, I would cover them in red marker or red paint. I was always putting blood all over my neck. So I was just obsessed with gore from a very young age.
And this is a great sort of, we have a brief philosophical detour, because there's a lot of young kids who have been coming to Silver Screen, and of course there's different schools of thought about at what age someone can see this or that. And I particularly, personally, think that it comes down to the parents and the kid, and nobody, you should know your children better than anybody else, so you should always be to decide, what's appropriate and when. Certainly, by the sound of it, and by the looks of your career, your mom introducing you to this stuff at a very young age didn't screw you up for the worst. It screwed you up in a great way.
Yeah. She trusted that I knew that it was fantasy, and I could tell the difference between reality and fiction, which I could. And also, there was like this little experiment going on in my childhood, like social experiment because I was the weird kid who would watch all these horror movies. But I grew up with 5 kids the same age. They're still my best friends to this day. We all lived on the same block, houses apart. They weren't allowed to watch the things I watched, but when they come over to my house, of course, I showed them everything I was watching. So literally, from the time we were 5 years old, I was watching these. They saw everything that I watched all the way up until we all parted ways in our, from like 18 to 25 and all of our lives. None of them turned out to be psychopaths or serial killers. In fact, they're, court officer, police officer, fireman, engineer, so I really don't think these films create maniacs. It's all about if you have a good upbringing.
Yeah, as a weird kid who liked horror and punk and heavy metal and all that kind of stuff, the kids who were supposed to aspire to be when I was growing up working like captains of the football team or whatever. And weird kids like football players who were, discussing themselves over their lives. Or, it doesn't seem to be us. So I'm just saying, there's something to that. Turn over here, and let's start all the way down at the end and go one by one. When did you first see a horror film?
Terrifier 2 was my first time seeing it. I watched the first Terrifier before I filmed the second. I was kind of in here. And then the first time I saw a horror film was the premiere of Terrifier 2.
Wow. Do you think that maybe easier to handle because you could look at the screen and be like, well, I understand how this was made, and I know these people, and I know that person's still alive.
Yeah, I think it was easy because I knew when I saw it on the and like that.
So have you had an era yet where you're revisiting classic horror movies or whatever? Are you still not quite there?
Not yet.
Well, welcome to the community. We were talking at the airport a few days ago, Thursday night, about how you get recognized without the makeup, without the costume. People just see you and know who you are. And I think it's a lot of it speaks to the coolness of the physicality of your performance and how much you put your body and your I mean, here we go. And people see you and know, like, well, that's Art the Clown without, you know what I mean? Like, can you talk a little bit about that part of being an actor and performer and how you convey so much? Because you're limited in what a lot of some actors have.
It just comes out at times that, yes, I don't even realize it. It's really weird. But I mean, I've always been kind of animated my whole entire life. And I finally realized why that was. I thought it was just because I watched a lot of Disney comedy growing up. But it's really because I realized it was at my cousin's wedding 2 years ago. And I had a deaf aunt, my Aunt Wanda. And she lived the weeks very well. But so I never really had sign language that I showed out because I was a boy that was distracted by like toys and like responsible. But so she looked pretty very well, and she's very animated, and that's how we interact with her. So everything's very big facial expressions, very big the hand movements and everything. I realized I was chatting with her at the wedding, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where it all comes from. I love it. Yeah, and she's hysterical too. I always love to tell people this about her. It's like I've always loved to scare her because she doesn't scream like most people. She thinks that she unlike your muscles or something like that. She learned how to scream from reading Donald Duck comic books. So she doesn't go ah. She goes what? It's funny. So I'm standing behind and she goes what? So much fun to do to her. I'm so horrible. But she always gets me back somehow. I'll try to be talking to her and she'll just turn off her hearing aids. I like hearing you. And she'll shut her eyes because that's,
And can you tell us a little bit about your origin story in terms of falling in love with comedy and physical comedy, falling in love with movies, and at what point did you realize, okay, I want to be put in when you get in this?
Yeah, I was watching all the movies. My parents and grandparents comedians, or just comedians in general. I love comedy. That's always been my thing. And I was watching
Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton, Mr. Bean, my other aunt gifted me a whole set of Mr. Bean tapes when I was about 12, 13 years old, and I would just sit there and watch them over and over and over and over and over and over. And I had always wanted to play a character like Mr. Bean, one of those silent mischievous characters. And so when this opportunity came up, because I had seen All Hallows Eve, so I knew that character, and I remember even watching All Hallows Eve before I even knew about Terrifier, and I was like, oh my god, what a great character. That's like evil Mr. Bean. I would love to have an opportunity to play a character like that one day, and that opportunity came up, and I'm like, oh my god, yes, put me in coach. So that was, I never thought I would actually be really hard to come as a comic guy. I actually moved to New York City originally to do Broadway. I was a musician before anything else, and I came from family musicians, and that's why I wanted to be on Broadway, and I had been up for about 4, 5, 6 different Broadway tours and final callbacks, and all of them fell through right before Terrifier, and I had this chance on that audition notice one day, because I was like, I've always wanted to do film work. I've never, all I did was some extra work, maybe some background work. And I was like, I'd really like to get my feet wet for this industry. And I was so I auditioned. I thought that's a great character. That'd be fun. That'd be a great thing to put on a resume one day. I don't know if anybody's going to see this because of the little bug in the film, but why not? My agent fought me on it. And I'm not with that agent anymore. And I had no idea it was going to changed my life, so it's been a fun ride. And I was a little late to the game with Bar, because my mom was a chicken, and she thought the Fall of the House of Usher was the scariest movie she'd ever seen in her life. And so we never really watched Bar movies in my family. And my dad might watch those late night sci-fi movies or something like that, but those were tank. And it wasn't until my senior year in high school when Scream 2 came out, so that was very but my cast Scream 2, and it was a girl that the cast had a crush on. She asked me where I was going. I put chicken out in front of her. So I was like, yeah, sure, go. Sure, and I had a blast. And I was like, after that, I was like, I don't know why my mom's so afraid of these things are so much fun. And so that next year in college, my buddy that I worked with and stuff like that, we were from high school. He came from a very conservative Southern Baptist family, so they didn't watch horror movies either. And we're like, we just rebel, and we would go every single weekend and just run a whole stack of all the movies of one, like, franchise. And so we all did, movies next movie, we Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we educated ourselves that way. Because I've never met him. I don't know. It's been quite a journey.
Oh, that's so amazing.